This is the 4 years from now startup competition. My name's Jon Bradford. I will be helping to host this. I'm originally one of the co-founders of F-Success. We've been very happy to help out with this. And then my day job, I'm a VC working for a large fintech fund out of London and New York. But just to start off with, I would first like to introduce Marta Ogreg from Startup Embassy, one of the oldest startup communities in Palo Alto, who would like to come on stage and announce a very special prize. Try that.
Hello, good afternoon. So yeah, Startup Embassy, we're a group of entrepreneurs, investors, and mentors, and we run a community in Silicon Valley where we provide soft landing opportunities for international founders that came to the Valley, either for short term, for business meetings, or long term, in case they are looking to establish their business there. And well, so as you have an idea, we're a bit like the hacker's house of HBO, but we don't take equity, and so we are looking to increase our community, and we're here to invite one of the entrepreneurs that are pitching today here at 4 years from now. And we've selected one of them to come with us and stay for 2 weeks. And we based our decision on who we think that can make the most of this opportunity. And our winner is Reply.ai.
See you in 10 minutes in the presentations.
And if any one of you is interested in learning more about us and what we do, so I'm going to be around, especially at the Nestlé stage. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Marta. Just to help provide context for those that don't know, 4 years from now is one of the fastest, if not the fastest, growing startup events on the planet. It's designed to bring together startups, corporates, and investors together to actually start to help build real meaningful relationships. Someone who's been here for the last 3 years, I can definitely say there's a lot of friends in the audience that I've met on previous occasions, and I would actively encourage you to do the same. The competition itself was held, there are 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, clearly. Today we're going to be disrupted by mobile, tomorrow is IoT, and Wednesday is going to be digital media. For each of those, we have selected the best 8 candidates, which was incredibly hard from each of those different areas, by a number of incredibly valuable and helpful experts. The total number of applications we had was over 300 from over 110 different cities and 45 different countries. And as I described, we've whittled these down to 8 teams who will go through a process of being able to do a 4-minute pitch, followed by questions and answers by our esteemed panel, who I am going to introduce, hopefully in the right order now. First off, I'd like to introduce Roy from Intel on stage. With water. Well done. Yeah. Yolanda from Banc Sabadell, who's their startup, B-Startup director. Sean Seton-Rogers, a partner at ProFounders. Rodrigo from Point 9 Capital.
How long is this intro?
And Abdul from MENA Apps, I believe, is the last one on stage. Wow. You going somewhere? So initially, we're going to do a short panel on mobile, after which we are then going to get straight into the 8 different teams. Cool. So, who's going to jump in first? Would you like to, because I'm rubbish at introductions, quickly introduce yourself? You got 30 seconds each. Last year we had someone who went on for 10 minutes and it was a little bit disappointing. No.
Abdul, I'm an angel investor. MENA Apps is a fund that invests in startups in the Middle East. And also I'm the founder and president of the Middle East Business Angel Network.
Hi, I'm Ramon, and first of all, thank you very much for having us here, and I really enjoy coming to Barcelona every year to this wonderful conference. This is my 4th year here. You get to learn a lot from the startups, a lot of trends, a lot of things that are changing. Since last time I was here, something changed in my life. I joined Intel Capital. So Intel Capital is the largest strategic investor in the world, all of planet Earth. And one of the things with being an investor is that you get to see a lot of startups, a lot of companies. And I also run the Intel Ingenuity Partner Program, which is our startup program. And you can see some of the companies over here in our booth. It's C3, I think, right? Yeah. Okay, I did it good. And you can see companies from cybersecurity to automotive to drones. And I think that this is the main thing that changed, right, in this conference along the time. I didn't do 10 minutes.
No, a bit more than 30 seconds.
Hello, I'm Yolanda Pérez. I'm the director of Be a Startup from Banc Sabadell. This is the program devoted to startups and innovative companies. We are supporters of, for years from now, from the very beginning, since it was a PowerPoint, so we are very proud of giving support to this amazing event, and I would take advantage to congratulate the team for this amazing edition one time ago. Banc Sabadell is the 4th private banking group in Spain. It has been created in 1881 by a group of entrepreneurs. So we have always been giving support to SMEs and businesses and entrepreneurs. And 3 years ago, at the time that 4 years from now was starting also, we started with our program. And we offer to entrepreneurs and to startups what we think it makes sense from a bank point of view. We offer specialized products and services to startups with 50 specialized branches all around Spain with a specific risk analysis process. We have more than 2,000 clients, startup clients in Spain. We also offer equity investment with 2 different vehicles. We have, at this point, we have 34 companies that we have invested in. We are interested in amazing teams with amazing products, in amazing markets, of course, as every fund looks for. And the other thing we offer is open innovation. We have several tools in order to enhance the innovation inside the bank, thanks to the collaboration with startups. For instance, we were the first bank in Spain open our APIs, and today, for instance, we have a hackathon in blockchain with the participation of Vitalik Buterin, the creator of the Ethereum technology, and we are going to have him tomorrow at 12:30. So you are invited to meet this amazing young creator of blockchain technology. And I think that's all by now.
Cool. Thank you.
Great. Hi, everybody. My name is Seton-Rogers. I'm with ProFounders Capital, and we are an early-stage VC fund based out of London, investing across Europe. We've made 3 investments into Spain, so actively looking for more. ProFounders is unique in that all the money in the fund comes from successful founders, so people that have built and exited companies with the idea that they are there to help out. And what do we invest in? We want to invest in businesses that leverage technology to transform what a crappy customer experience is. So if you got a technology that can improve something, make it cheaper, faster, easier, but make better informed decision making for both B2B and B2C. That's what we like to invest in. Thanks.
So I'm Rodrigo from Point 9 Capital. Point 9 Capital is an early stage fund based out of Berlin. Actually, I'm from Barcelona, so I'm pleased to be here. We run a total of 100+ million euros across several funds, investing mostly in late seed, early Series A's, which for us means initial checks around 500,000 up to 1 million, and we are mostly focused on SaaS and marketplaces.
Cool, thank you. Right, so we have a series of questions, and I promise not to mix them up, to ask you. So in today's world where there are zillions of apps, how do you make an app that stands out? I'm going to ask you from this end.
I think the killer reason we are looking when we invest in apps is the distribution channels. Because before, in the world of web, you had SEO, right? Like you could compete organically, you could be found on the results, and then you could grow organically. Now in the world of app stores, the discovery through app stores really doesn't work in the sense of providing you healthy growth. And as an early stage investor, we cannot afford to give you 500,000 and spend 400,000 of that into growth. So actually, almost all of our app investments recently have an unfair advantage in distribution. And when you think about that, think about the example of WhatsApp and many others who use you as a referral network to keep growing.
Cool.
It's really fucking hard. I mean, can I say that? Am I allowed to swear on stage here? The fact is, it's really hard, right? And I don't want to understate that. Like Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and Snapchat, they have absolutely dominant market share. And they iterate insanely fast as well because they're young companies themselves, right? So there is no easy answer. I think what Snapchat was able to do was pick off a demographic that no one else had targeted before. And we've seen companies that are trying to pick off kind of the next post-Snapchat demographic as well. But I think in the end, trying to build a social product or an app, you can't just build an app. It has to have a real purpose behind it, right? And what we love right now are apps that kind of interface into existing industries that are basically just a channel to do things that people already do, and you have an existing contact distribution network with your customers that you can leverage.
Cool. Yolanda?
Yeah, in the same sense. It just 10 years ago, Steve Jobs presented the first phone and the first iPhone, and put the applications inside, and the applications are the center of the interaction of the user with the device. But nowadays, technologies allow us to do much other things, and I mean, now it's the moment where user can be the center, the situation where we are, the context, the needs can be taken into account, and apps will be more a platform where the user is going to resolve their daily tasks, and it seems that we are going to use fewer apps, but we are going to use it more, and this seems to be the trend. Recently, I read that if mobile is eating the world, artificial intelligence is the chef that is orchestrating the menu. So I think this is a good metaphor of what it's going to be.
Cool.
So I think that two things. One, if we look at the app world became kind of a general product. There is nothing unique about different applications. You cannot launch a service or a company today without some application or application through a website. Any company that respects itself has an application and has a way to communicate with that application. So what we see, the overload is being, first of all, monetized by push notification. So there is a lot of interface to the user through push notification, and that's also rising up. The second part is the artificial intelligence, as you mentioned. The artificial intelligence is a topic where our interaction would be more natural with the phone. The application would not be something that is represented as maybe something installed on the phone, but maybe a cloud service, maybe something that is integrated into the platform. And I think that kind of where the next challenge would be. if we're looking ahead into the future?
I think, we have two, as far as we're concerned, two sets of apps. The apps like Instagram, WhatsApp, the disruptors, they came into the market. They did not exist, 5-10 years ago. And they opened the door for this huge industry. One of my companies, we work with the customer experience, and I can tell you, airlines, for example, or banks, they failed until now to use this new technology, the mobile apps, to capitalize on it and offer a better service. You can imagine an airline or a bank, he has a captured audience, millions or tens of millions of customers. If they figure out the benefit of mobile apps the same way WhatsApp or Instagram have worked, you can imagine the customer value and the user experience or customer experience and the amount of new offerings or the amount of better margins or better service that can be offered. So I think that area still needs a lot of work. It could be that these big elephants still look at that as a threat, not as an opportunity. And I think the minute they see this as an opportunity, we'll see a huge evolution in the app industry.
Okay. So technology has jumped forward in emerging markets where mobile technology has come first versus desktops, laptops and things like that. Is there any fighting chance that apps or technologies from emerging markets could potentially compete in much more mature, developed markets?
I think so. I think if you look at developing markets, Africa, Middle East, these markets are unique. If I look at the Middle East market, more specific, the Arab market, there are about 450 million Arabs. And what's unique about this population is a young population. Almost 70% of this population are below the age of 30, 33. So that segment, that market, is a totally different market, and it's a huge, unique segment of users. So if we see development in the Arab world that would really look at the needs of this segment, the Arab world could become one of the contributors. Now, it's unfortunately, it's only a consumer market. So if you look at the social media and you look at the penetration, you will see the highest penetration of Facebook, Instagram, etc., in a country like Saudi Arabia or Egypt. And if you look at the number of mobile apps that actually are coming from these countries, almost none. So I think that is an area where we could see hopefully some progress. Countries like China or Korea or Russia actually proved to be a source of exporters of apps and mobile technology that's becoming global. So I think the same thing can happen in some of the emerging markets or developing markets or in the early stage. Africa is a case, and the Arab world is another example.
Cool.
So I think that the emerging markets are a unique opportunity. One of the reasons that it's a unique opportunity, and I think that a lot of startup companies need to realize that, is that the mature industry that we have in the modern world or advanced world is an industry that controls certain segments of the market. These segments, even banking or investments, in the emerging markets, not necessarily are accessible. And there is a lot of opportunity for companies that offer kinds of services in emerging markets that do not exist in mature markets, because some of the features of some of the segments just do not exist in these areas.
If the question was about how can new technologies boost the development of poorest countries, or if technologies can
emerging markets compete really with developed markets?
I think that regarding the individuals. I think that ICT can make that individuals from all over the world, talented individuals with resources, can compete with individuals from everywhere. But regarding the poorest countries in the world, I think that things are not that easy. It's true that learning can help a lot with education and with culture, that it's a big leverage to development. Also, health can help a lot. I think that we are going even to see today an applications that improve the harvests, and that can help also in the fight against the hunger, etc. But I think that if we are talking about a real change of life conditions or in the level of real development, I think that we need something else than technology. We also need, to empower this change and a real change of values in the humanity. Well, a real change in this sense. I think that technology, of course, can help a lot, but that will not be enough, unfortunately.
No?
I think one big difference we see when we are investing, and we are mostly B2B investors, is that in Europe and in the US, you have legacy systems, right? So when you are building something on top of the existing systems, you need to integrate with everything in place, and you need to be thinking about incremental adoption. When we see businesses in emerging markets, and even some of our providers are selling directly into emerging markets, we see that there you're starting from a white piece of paper, and that's allowing those institutions to be more agile, to be faster at adopting new technologies, and that's allowing them to be a lot more efficient than some of the incumbents here. So it's very early to be very brave on that assumption, but sounds like because of the legacy that allow us to be big, you may be slower at adopting new technologies than what the emerging markets can be, and they don't have this depth of like thinking from the web world. So that might allow them to think a future that comes mobile first, and that might make them winners into the future.
Let me give you one example. Mobile payments. Way before we knew mobile payments in the West, in Africa, M-Pesa was among the first, I think maybe 15 years ago, that was used. And I think that emerged out of a need in Africa. And I don't really have the figures, but I think the amount of money that's currently being used in M-Pesa in Africa, in Kenya, is among the highest in terms of mobile payment platforms in the world. So that's an example where something that's been really developed and utilized in emerging markets and way before than the developed markets.
Okay, cool. So this is, you don't realize this, but this is pretty amazing. We have 5 investors on stage, and none of them have touched a mobile phone in about 15 minutes, which is unheard of. So can technology help heal our ability to detach oneself from mobiles? Sean?
So most panels are quite boring, and I want to be the one that mixes it up a little bit here. So I say this partly in jest, but that's a fucking bullshit question for the most part. and so the reason I say that, and that's twice I've sworn, I don't want to be Dave McClure, but the reason I say that is actually I think it's not a real issue. I think the reality is most people are happy with their phones. They're happy to have them on there all the time. They're happy to check stuff, get notifications. I think the same people that worry about work-life balance are, us that are sitting here. We're the same people that didn't know anyone that voted for Brexit. We're the same people that didn't know anyone that voted for Donald Trump. In reality, most people work 9 to 5. They love their phone. It's with them. It allows them to be sneaky while at work and check stuff. And they go home, and if they haven't bought a new computer in 5 years, and the phone is their computer, and it's with them all day long. So I think the reality is 99% of people don't really care.
Do you not think it potentially has an impact on children who don't know anything else?
Yes, 30 years ago they said the arcade was going to destroy the youth. And then 20 years ago they said those home computers are going to destroy the youth. And guess what? The youth are resilient. We managed to survive all the time.
And you know what they said as well? When they built the roads in Rome, they said that the roads are going to kill the culture. And when they started printing books, they said the same thing. We have a strong, but I think that if we're looking at more philosophically, I think that one of the major risks is how do we utilize the AI capability? And I think that this is an interesting topic, because if you take the mobile device, it's just a tool today. How can we make this tool a smarter tool? How can we use natural language to communicate with that? I don't want to explain myself. I just want to, I don't know, order a restaurant, and I wanted to know what restaurant I like, where I want to go, and navigate or call the Uber for me. And the second part that I see is the ability to analyze vast amounts of data. For example, one of the companies that is presenting here, Amenity Analytics, is actually trying to tackle that. And this is where I think that harvesting the data, collecting it, bringing it forward in a way that we can digest it would be the next tool that we use. So today, it's not about the mobile device, it's not about communication. It's about collecting data. It's about getting to know you and acting according to what you are and who you are and where you are.
And it's only getting worse as well. How many people here have an Amazon Echo in their house or know of what it does? It sits there all day long listening to me when I yell at my kids, talk to my wife, all that kind of stuff. Yet, we love it. It's great. You can just dial up a song, you can order something off it. It's going to get much worse.
To answer your question, among the audience, when you wake up in the morning, and please answer in an honest way. Honestly. How many of you, the first thing they will do, pick up the phone or kiss his wife or his girlfriend? Pick up the phone. Who does? Okay. So,
I want to know who doesn't.
So basically, that's the answer. The first thing you do when you wake up, you pick up your phone. You don't kiss your wife or your girlfriend. So that's exactly the answer.
Well, on the Amazon Echo topic, each of the kids have one. And I've discovered that actually my second son actually prefers to talk to his Echo than he does to talk to his father. So yeah, it creates interesting dynamics about AI and being responsive. So given that I'm going to butt in, we've got about 2.5 minutes left. Given that we're talking about disruption by mobile, where do you think mobile is likely to be highly impactful next?
I hope it will go towards health and environment. That's what I hope. I don't think that's where it's going, because I think health, environment, education are the most powerful areas that will affect and influence our life. And because mobile apps is so powerful, so if they're really utilized in these three areas, I think that's going to be amazing. I think where they're more going towards entertainment in terms of stuff that is more the WhatsApp, Instagram kind of stuff, but not the education, health, and environment.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we are all waiting for this disruption in health and in education, but maybe it's not the time yet. Even if there's a lot of technology involved and devoted to these fields, what it seems to be more hot nowadays is the automobile industry. Seems to be quite hot. We have been seeing a lot of technology coming, the autonomous car, all these IoT, and well, I think that in the next years we're going to see how all this expand. I think the automobile is an industry that is very hot nowadays.
So one of the things that and again I agree with both of my peers here. One of the things is autonomous machines. So autonomous machines, for example, in our plants, there is a company called Aerobotics in Intel in Israel. It's actually securing our plants and this is unique because you need to have a user or an operator to do that, to supervise. And today a machine does that. And I think that this is one of the things that will be disruptive. And when we talk about autonomous machines, this is autonomous vehicles. This is the ability to have computer vision capabilities. It's the ability to have smart tap, which is doing hot water in your shower according to what you like exactly. Advanced shopping experience where you're at. And I think that all of that is kind of where the next mobile disruption will happen. It's more about and machines, robotics, and obviously IoT.
I was a Star Trek nerd growing up, and so I want a tricorder that I can go like this and then figure out how healthy someone is and what's wrong with them.
I think from what we are seeing more recently that it's a lot more progressive, right? Like self-driving cars without Uber will be a lot harder to use. So you need first Uber and then the self-driving cars. And we see that in the B2B market, almost everything is still on paper. So digitalizing first those processes into mobile apps and then moving from the mobile apps to the artificial intelligence, that's what we see as it's not as disruptive as many of the things that have been mentioned, but I think that's what is going to get most adoption in the near future.
Cool. Thank you very much. Give these guys a clap while I organize who's going to be on stage next. From BitRefill. Okay, so first up, on their 4-minute pitch, I would like to introduce Sergey from BitRefill and Stockholm. Come up. Hi.
Camera slides. Sorry. I'll start. My name is Sergey from BitRefill. Last month, 40,000 people in 110 countries had a prepaid phone refilled through our service, BitRefill. Still waiting for the slides. There we go. Now, there's 4 billion people in the world with a prepaid phone. And the thing with prepaid phones is that it's surprisingly hard to have them refilled online. The reason for that is that these transactions are considered super high risk for payments fraud. So the few online services that actually do exist to do that have expensive fees and problematic verification processes. Most of the world still refills the old-fashioned way with this guy. But a trend that is happening right now is that more and more people are starting to use some type of digital money. They earn money online, get paid online, receive money from friends and family in other countries. It all ends up in some type of online wallet. And the thing with digital money is that suddenly these refill transactions become not only possible, they actually become incredibly convenient. So we started BitRefill 2 years ago as a simple service that would let Bitcoin users refill their prepaid phone in 3 easy steps. Didn't even require an account. It was super easy to use, and nothing like that had been seen before. It quickly became very popular in that niche, and today we're probably the biggest Bitcoin e-commerce service in the world. Now, the world is far bigger than Bitcoin, and especially in the online wallet space. So we've built an embeddable product that's called Airfill that can be run inside of any type of e-money wallet out there. This product is already built, launched, integrated with the first partners, and generating revenue already. The team is super lean. My co-founders are longtime friends of mine, and we've previously worked together in launching the Rabble app in Sweden. I was the CTO, Michael was the CFO, and Michelle, he did the sales. So we're BitRefill. We refill prepaid services online. We've been growing 20% month over month for the past 2 years. Last month, we generated $150,000 worth of refills. We've got the world's best infrastructure for refilling prepaid services online, and we're incredibly excited to be using that to enable digital money all over the world. Thank you.
I'll start the first question. Thanks a lot. It's definitely interesting. Are you limiting yourself for refilling of the prepaid phones? Because today the prepaid has endless number of potential areas for refill, including prepaid cards, for example. Do you think that you would expand beyond the mobile phones, prepaid mobile phones, to other refills where you have prepaid, and how do you plan to approach that?
Sure. We actually already have. I just left it out of the pitch. So we already support in some countries, prepaid gas, prepaid electricity, prepaid water, that kind of stuff. So anything that's basically a digital balance that is prepaid, we can refill through our service or through our API. So it's this exact same experience, except instead of a phone number, you would type in your account number for your gas provider or digital television account.
See, that's a different angle. I mean, it's good that I asked it, because it changes the scope big time, because there are millions of prepaid meters for electricity, gas, water, parking meters, etc. So that platform could be, you're telling us, it could be used for any refill anywhere in the world with any currency.
Sure. But we're a super small team, so we have to focus on doing something really well before we expand.
One more question.
So do you have any interesting traction with customers?
So as I mentioned, last month we had 40,000 unique people that received a refill through the platform in 110 countries. Total transaction volume last month is $150,000, and it's growing at 20% every month. So it's getting there, and it's growing fast.
You mentioned that for the people who were doing similar business in the past, fraud was a big issue. How do you take care of fraud in a different way, or what are you doing differently to the others?
Sure. So the source of fraud is usually that some crook gets access to payments information, like a credit card or something, does the transaction, and then the transaction gets reversed, so that the merchant, instead of of $100 refill, maybe you earn 5 or 10 of that, and then the transaction gets reversed. So instead of earning $10, you lose 110, right? And so what we do is we limit ourselves to using the payment services that exist that don't have reversibility. So we started with Bitcoin, but we realized that the same both opportunities and also problems that we faced in Bitcoin actually exist in many other types of online payment wallets.
Cool. Thank you very much, Sergey.
Thank you.
Cheers. And next up, I would like to invite David from OpenBack in Dublin. Cheers.
Hi there. So, my name's David Shackleton. I'm the Chief Executive of OpenBack. OpenBack is a revolutionary new software platform that enables mobile apps to do a much improved job at delivering you all mobile app notifications. Notifications have become the primary interface on mobile. I bet every single person in this room and pretty much everybody in the world with a smartphone received a notification today. The lock screen on your phone has recently, with iOS 10 and Android as well, become the new home screen. But the problem here is that with all that, front of mind stuff means users are opting out faster than ever. So we see 50 to 60% opt-out rates for apps who start using our technology. Lots of examples. Look at our Twitter feed for bad notifications delivered in the middle of the night, delivered twice. There was a great example last night with the Oscars faux pas where they announced it wrong. CNN sent out a notification, couldn't get it back and fix it. Notifications done properly add value and are useful for people. If you look at how push notifications came about, originally notifications on your app were invented for email. Emails on a server tell the user that those emails exist. Apps then built on top of that from server side sending out message to users. But what's missing is using data, using learning to deliver those notifications at the right moment for each user and reporting and managing them properly. How do push notifications work? A token's taken from your phone back to your back-end servers. You then send that token along with your message to Apple and Google, who make best efforts to deliver back to the device. This makes no sense in our view. It's like every email in the world going through one platform, and best efforts isn't good enough in this day and age. What we've done is built out a proprietary technology that sits on the app and ultimately uses the power of the smartphone to deliver those notifications and manage them properly. We pick up over 200 device data points for iOS and Android, and we've arranged them into triggers, very much if this then that. So somebody's at home on a weekday evening between 7 and 9, they've unlocked their phone, they've been playing with it for a couple of minutes. That's a good time maybe to engage somebody with a marketing message. We also have a bunch of early machine learning stuff live, which uses that data in real time for each user. This underlying approach of controlling things locally on each user's device enables a whole host of other features. Managing across different apps, across different devices. Send a notification if it's not delivered because somebody's opted out. Deliver an SMS, which we're working with KBC Bank in Belgium on, for example. If you look at the email world, people think about how many did you send, how many got delivered, how many got opened, clicked, unsubscribed. There's no platform other than ourselves today that can present that data for notifications, which seems crazy to us given how important they are. We have an independent study at the end of last year rated us, top right, which is just where we want to be on the chart in terms of being able to personalize and do a great job of notifications. What's really important is the impact to our customers. So we see these great click-through rates for campaigns with customers, 40–50% click-through rate. The industry benchmarks 2–3%. We see much higher interaction rates, which we can track. So did the user read the notification, get some value perhaps, but then dismiss it? It still counts. And also, most importantly, is the opt-in rate. So users are more likely to stay opted in. We're headquartered in Dublin in Ireland. We've got a small office in Mountain View in California. We're adding about 250,000 new apps. Now, there are customers' apps each week across 200 different countries, and we've live tested the platform up to 1 billion installs already. In the end, we've created a revolutionary way to change how notifications are delivered. And the most important part of that is using all of our data and our user data, which doesn't even need to leave the phone, to deliver great experiences for each of us and try and fix notifications and make them more and more useful. And that's why we believe we'll become the new standard for mobile app notifications. I've been David, we're OpenBack.
Congratulations. Can you explain us about how do you get new clients and how much does it cost to acquire a new client?
Yeah, so I guess at the moment, most of our clients come in through sort of enterprise SaaS sales, so light touch inside sales. We're starting to see more word of mouth and referrals, and we're starting to get picked up in sort of thought leadership blogs and things, which is helping, but we have a long way to go.
Can you talk a little bit about the team? How many employees you have?
Yeah, so there's just 6 of us. So myself and my co-founder, Christian, who's the CTO, and then one other commercial person, and then the rest is development technology.
And what's your background?
So I spent most of the last 12 years as co-founder and COO of a business called Ding, we invented international top-up. So actually there's Riverdance on at our stand in the main Mobile World Congress. And I think even BitRefill uses our infrastructure. So I scaled that out, profitable business, 250 people in 130 countries.
Can you very briefly talk about how you charge? I'm not sure if it's on a per notification basis, per user basis.
Yeah, so I guess we have different plans based on features. Like there's a lot of different capability, and then those different plans are like a SaaS model, so sort of a monthly recurring fee, and then based on how many mobile apps are actually out there using the technology. We help apps send less notifications, so we can't price against that. And I think for some segments, we're exploring kind of closer links to monthly active users, but our pricing today is on active app installs.
Okay, thank you very much, David.
Thanks
Cheers.
a lot.
And next up, I would like to introduce on stage Clara from Reply.ai in New York. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I just want to begin by thanking 4 years from now for this incredible opportunity and thanking the judges for your time. Really appreciate it. Cool. Okay, so I'm Clara from Reply, and we're powering one-to-one conversations at scale. One-to-one communication is vital for companies to maintain their relationships. For years, this has meant call centers, stacked social media teams, but the problem with these is they're expensive and they're hard to scale. And the reality is, people's preferences have changed. We are now officially in the messaging age. Messaging is global. It's already installed on phones, it's something everyone knows how to do, and it's the preferred communication method for the largest consumer group on the planet. That's why you've been hearing so much about bots lately. Bots are software that automate my slides and actions, services, access to information via messaging channels. And bots are essential to meeting customers' expectations in the messaging age. And in the messaging age, companies need the right partner in order to succeed in this new model, and that's what we provide at Reply. Reply is an end-to-end solution that provides an evergreen technology layer to build, manage, and optimize chatbots that scale one-to-one conversations. In human terms, Reply is the plumbing that makes sense of the chaos and opportunity of messaging. Now, Reply bots can improve the business practices in a variety of ways. For starters, as you might have guessed, Reply bots can reduce high-touch, low-value interactions. So often questions are easy to answer, things like, where's my order? What's the status of my return? And we've seen that up to 60% of these questions can be automated, which is something we learned firsthand when we launched Starbucks' first bot. Turns out there's a lot of people out there that just want to know when they can get their hands on a pumpkin spice latte. Now, reply bots can also generate revenue by reducing friction from the consumer journey. And no one knows this better than Unilever's hair care brand Nexus. When we launched their first bot, it was more than just customer support or commerce, but a hair care concierge that alleviated many of the questions and hurdles from the purchasing process by providing a level of personalization like never before. This bot provided product recommendations not only based on hair type, but based on the weather conditions and humidity levels in the user's location, which is great for you curly-haired folks out there. And sure, reply bots might cut costs, but the reality is they increase throughput by reaching an entirely new demographic. That's the power of people being able to talk to businesses the same way they would chat with a friend. Now, perhaps most importantly, reply bots can improve the user experience. Anytime a user interacts with a bot that's been built on Reply, we create a profile on that user, capturing data on them, their preferences, their purchases, to provide context for every interaction going forward so they're never talking to a stranger. This was crucial when we launched Vio's bot to provide support for returning customers with recently purchased laptops. Now, we have what some might say is a unique view in the bot community, and that's that we believe that bots should act like bots and humans should act like humans. One shouldn't be trying to fool the other into thinking it's something it's not. This isn't Blade Runner or Westworld. So if the bot can't provide the service, our proprietary takeover tool integrates into any customer service engine so that a live agent can take over at any point with context. And context is what turns transactions into conversations, which is what strengthens relationships between businesses and consumers. So much so that at Facebook's Global Partner Summit, they announced that thanks to bots, customer satisfaction rates had risen from 10 to 90%. Now, getting started on Reply is a simple three-step process. We begin in the build phase. Our motto is to think big, but start small. We begin by tackling your most frequently asked questions, providing a utility. We're not just repurposing a website in a chat bubble. And because we know that one size most definitely does not fit all, our code-free visual building environment allows those that know the subject matter the best to be at the helm of bot creation to ensure that a brand's voice and values are accurately captured in this new medium without having to burn developer hours. But building is just the beginning. Management is really where the fun begins. We have advanced features like audience segmentation, campaign management, AI plugins, natural language processing, the ability to integrate into anything from APIs to complex CMSs, multi-language, multi-channel distribution. We can even put a bot in an ad unit because the number one question we get is around discoverability. And finally, optimization. Reply provides the optimization tools like analytics, reporting, and testing to ensure that your bot is constantly improving and learning and truly harnessing the power of this new and incredibly intimate communication medium. And optimization is really where Reply breaks through the chatbot hype and turns bots into the beginning of a conversational strategy. We're currently powering conversations for brands all over the world, across industries, and the greatest thing that we've learned from them is that the greatest value that bots can deliver is at the core of the customer experience. We're a proven team of seasoned entrepreneurs with previous companies, products, awards, and a successful acquisition under our belts. And we're so excited about the promise of bots that we actually built one for you guys. It's the 4 years from now, right now bot that helps you figure out what to do, see, and experience at the 4 years from now conference right now, which you can go to at m.me/4YFN right now. So if you're an innovator who's looking to reach people in this new age, come talk to us. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you. Right. Clara overran a little bit, so she's only going to get one question.
Got it.
Go for it. Make it count.
Okay, one question. Who's your target customers? Is it the contact centers or the companies directly?
Yeah, so we're at the stage in which we're attempting sort of all of the above. We have customers that are directly contact centers. A lot of partnerships have come out of that as essentially distribution channels for us. Contact centers, they know that this is coming. They want to be the ones that provide it. So we have a lot of, we've essentially been able to provide a white label solution for them. And then in other situations, we are direct to brand. But ultimately, I think that this is something true about the entirety of the chatbot landscape, is that everybody's sort of figuring out who owns that. So we're sort of, we're a startup, and we're in the process of running multiple experiments to identify exactly that.
Cool. Thank you very much. Off you get.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Cheers. Cool. I would like to remind the judges to make sure they're putting their scores in their funky iPads. Cool. So next on stage is Jerome from Splitsight here in Spain.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Jero and I'm CMO at Splitsight. 1.7 million euros of turnover, 40,000 users acquired, 62% monthly retention, and just with a marketing budget of 500 euros per month. And you will be asking yourself, what is he talking about? Okay, I will tell you. It all started at university. Dinners, trips, parties, alcohol. Who collects the money? This is usually a nightmare for the organizer who has to chase people and spend time and money. Not anymore. This is when Splitsight starts. It's an online platform for group payments. It's simple. You create a money pot, you share the link via email with your friends, they do their payment with their credit card in one simple click, and once you've collected the money, you transfer it to your bank account. Simple, fast, and no need to chase anyone. And you can do it anytime, anywhere, just sitting by the couch, for example. But why are we unique? Okay, first of all, we offer the lowest commission in the market. We have no restrictions. You don't have to reach a goal. You don't have to enter a deadline. You can do multiple transferences. We reduce the friction always. You don't have to download the app, or you don't have to link your bank account in order to do a payment. And the most important of all, we offer an instant money transfer. That means the money is in your bank account in a couple of seconds. Our business model is clear. 2.5% commission in cash out. This includes several unique features, I say unique because competitors don't offer it, which is withdraw money from any ATM, cash machine in the Spanish market, express transferences, online shopping, and you can even pay with your mobile phone in any physical store. Okay, we've already signed up with several universities and student associations. We are growing on a 35 monthly rate. And we are in negotiations with several financial institutions and other fintech companies. Our main competitors, we will be talking about Tilt in the United States and Litchi, based in France. They were acquired by 50 million euros by Credit Muriel, and in fact, they tried to enter the Spanish market, and they failed where we are succeeding. In order to take Splitsight to the next level, we are looking for 300K in order with a runaway of 10 months. All this work is possible thanks to my brilliant, awesome, fascinating, I have tons of adjectives, okay? But they are senior, they have experience in the startup world, and the most important of all, we complement each other. Plus, we have the support of several recognized investors and accelerators in Spain. Thank you very much, and hope you join us in our trip to success.
Questions?
Do you require everyone to have the app on their phone to be able to engage in it, or are there ways for people who don't have the Splitsight app to be able to?
It's a web platform, so there's no need to download the app, but we are offering also the app too. So if you're a participant, for example, you just receive a link, and just by clicking on the link, you enter your card details, and you've done your payment. You don't have to download the app at all. Obviously, we ask for registration.
Can you tell me what will happen if PayPal tomorrow decides to launch the service? How will you react?
Well, we all know Spain is a tough market, and we are succeeding. As I told you before, Witty has entered the Spanish market and failed. And we have the know-how of this market. If PayPal enter, we will have to fight with them. Yeah. Not scared at all.
Cool. Thank you, Jero.
Thank you very much.
And next up, I'd like to introduce Andrew from Sentio and San Francisco.
Hi, my name is Andrew. I'm co-founder and CEO of Sentio. At Sentio, we build technology that transforms your smartphone into a full workstation. We build a hardware shell called the Superbook, a universal laptop shell, and an Android application that makes Android function like a familiar desktop. And so, download the app, plug it into our hardware, and for $140, any Android smartphone becomes a full working laptop. You may have seen us last year. We launched a Kickstarter and raised $3 million in 30 days, making us the #1 hardware Kickstarter. And so far today, we've pulled in about $4 million of pre-sales. And before telling you how we do this, or even what our business model is, let me tell you a little bit about why. The next billion work opportunities for people in emerging economies is going to come from knowledge work. It's going to look less like factory assembly or heavy lifting, and a lot more like coding, design, market research, and spreadsheets. But for the billion people in Africa, there's a problem. Only about 11% of them have access to the tools necessary to do this kind of work, mainly a laptop. And that number is not growing. But if you look at the number of smartphones that are owned by the people in Africa, that number has doubled, and it's growing at 35% year over year. And the other side of it is that mobile processing has now caught up and surpassed PC processing, not just in the $800 to $1,000 smartphones and laptops, but especially at the lower end, where the $300 Galaxy J7 is far superior processing-wise than its equal, the Lenovo 100S. And so if you can just unlock the potential of the computer that every single person has on the planet, well, we can do a lot. And so we've built this universal laptop shell that's compatible with the majority of Android devices on the planet. And so for emerging economies, where practically every device is an Android device, that means that everyone can have access to affordable laptop productivity. But the hardware is just one small component. The magic really is our software. Sentio is an application that when you download onto your phone, it makes Android function as a work operating system. We built in a powerful multi-window framework that allows for running multiple applications at the same time, not just the ones that we've built, but other Android applications as well. And that means that with your smartphone and the processing power of it alone, you can get some real work done. On the business side, for our partners on telecoms and mobile device manufacturers, a better form factor means that folks are willing to spend more on data. They're willing to use their mobile device a lot more. And from our side, we make revenue from both hardware sales, software sales, as well as building a platform for third-party integration. We're an experienced team with a lot of hardware as well as technical experience. My co-founder was a senior software engineer at Google on the Android team. We have industry veterans from Flextronics, McKinsey, Razer, and about 40 years of manufacturing experience on the team. We're also backed by some of the top investors in the world. Our mission is to create a world where the only computer you'll ever need is your smartphone. And if that sounds interesting to you, come talk to me afterwards. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Great pitch. Quick question for you. So I just dipped my toe back into the Chromebook market over the weekend, and for 180 pounds, which sadly due to exchange rates is only like $220, $230 now, I was able to get a Chromebook that I fired up and it updates the software automatically, and frankly, it's awesome. I can't believe how cheap and good it is. I'm wondering how you compete against Asus or Google or anyone else that's really trying to push this as well, but from a different angle.
It's a really great question, and I think cheap laptops and affordable laptops are probably our biggest competitor. The thing that we sell is, look, there's one device. For people that have, let's say, $300, right, there's only going to be one device that they're really going to invest in. And for people in those markets, they're reinvesting in those devices once every 2 years. So that device is constantly upgrading. Simply all we're selling is an extension of that device. So buy our Superbook one time, and every time you upgrade your phone, you get a more powerful machine. That way, in a couple years, that $180 Chromebook is going to be a 2-year-old $180 Chromebook.
Any other questions?
In which stage is the company right now? Do you have a prototype? Are you already selling the first products? And do you plan to support iOS in the future?
It's a great set of questions. The first thing is that we're shipping our products in the next 2 months. So the 4 million pre-sales, people are going to get angry if we don't ship soon, but you can actually now pre-buy it. It'll be in retail stores in June or July of this year. And as for iOS, it's an interesting market. As a company, we have to focus, and so we focus on Android, which actually has a really broad applicability with about 80% of the devices out on the market.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Andrew. And next on stage, I'd like to introduce Kenny from WeFarm in London.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are 500 million small-scale farmers around the world that have no access to the internet. Now, maybe I could ask everybody just to think about that for a few seconds. Think about if you lived here. You're 5, maybe even 10 kilometers walk from the nearest village, and with it, access to even the most important and vital information about how to improve your farm, how to battle a disease, maybe even how to plant a new crop. And that's why we created WeFarm. With WeFarm, these same farmers can both share and access vital, really important pieces of information without leaving their farm, without spending any money, and without needing any access at all to the internet. And all of it sourced from within the crowd itself. How does it work? Well, everybody, meet Victor. Victor here is a tea farmer in rural Kenya and a WeFarm user. His tea plants were being attacked by a bug, a pest that he'd never seen before. So he sends a free, simple SMS to the local WeFarm number. At that point, WeFarm starts to analyze every part of his question, bringing AI and machine learning, even for the unconnected, to make sure we can get his question to the people in our network we know can help. In this example, his question arrived with Doris. Now, Doris here is also a tea farmer, but in Uganda. And she's been battling this pest every day of her life for the last 10 years. So who better to start providing relevant and useful information so that Victor can save his livelihood without leaving his farm? But the thing is, this is not just a problem for Victor and Doris and a few million farmers. It's also a problem for some of the biggest businesses on earth, and for all of us, for you and for me. These farmers grow 70% of all the food we eat on Earth, and the UN estimates that more than $30 billion worth of it a year is lost on the farm, mostly due to easily solved problems. Now, it's not just the farmers that carry the consequences of this, but the big multinationals and the governments that pay for this supply chain, but have almost zero visibility into what's happening in it. And so we get to the other side of WeFarm. We're analyzing literally millions of organic conversations between the people that form this supply chain, which means we can start to analyze, track, map, and give unique insight into the world's commodities and the world's supply chains, such as mapping coffee ripening across Kenya. Not hard to see how this is valuable data for the multinationals buying this 14 months before a consumer is drinking it. That's why we already have paid commercial contracts with some big high street names, as well as working with some of the biggest NGOs on Earth. But where are we with the users? Well, since we launched in 2015, we already have more than 150,000 farmers that have signed up, and that's growing by more than 1,000 every day. But not just signing up. they use it. We've shared more than 20 million interactions, all of them between people with no access to the internet. To put that in context for you, our monthly active user rate is much higher than Twitter, and our platform is even stickier than WhatsApp. That's why our seed round has just closed with Sol Klein and Local Globe, and let's be honest, these guys know how to spot a good network business. But for us, ladies and gentlemen, this is just the start. We are on our way to helping 100 million small farmers improve their livelihoods, and we're going to do it using their own ideas, knowledge, and grassroots solutions. Along the way, we're going to create some genuinely big data, such as the things we're already doing in mapping disease and drought for commercial and social purposes across entire countries where nobody has any existing data. If we finish in this community that we started in, hopefully it feels a little more connected than it did a few minutes ago. Thank you.
Questions?
Can you tell us a bit more about your background and how did you discover this opportunity?
So I'm an engineer originally. I spent 7 years working in Latin America, designing fish farms. I ran an NGO and spent my life working with rural indigenous communities. Some of the biggest stuff I saw was how people created small grassroots solutions, but travel 5 miles down the road, and the same problem, but the ideas haven't traveled. I'm starting to think about the value of sharing knowledge and ideas, even for poor people. We tend to come at training in the developing world from the top down always, and I think we can challenge that.
Can this solution scale to other domains besides farming?
Sure. I mean, 500 million people will keep us busy for the next few months. But yeah, we've already done a pilot of WeLearn in education. There's obviously other areas that we're looking at. I think it's important to say this is also about content, not channel. So it's already accessible online. That's obviously the future. And the vision is for this to be channel agnostic and accessible to everybody.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kenny.
Thank you.
Cheers. Next up, I'd like to introduce Jameson from Warehouse in Boston.
First, I'd like to say thank you to 4 Years From Now for hosting us. Thank you to the judges and to the audience for listening. My name's Jameson, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Warehouse. Since 1960, the number of people that live in cities has quadrupled to over 4 billion. And while this urban migration has increased productivity, improved quality of life, and changed the skylines of cities like Hong Kong, it's also created a massive strain on the infrastructure and services. Problems like pollution, congestion, building sustainable economic development have plagued citizens and governments, and businesses are now struggling to provide personalized, on-demand services to all of their users. The problem is that the data that we have to understand cities hasn't grown as fast as their populations. Luckily, in the last 10 years, the rise of smartphones has changed all of this. We now carry around mobile devices in our pockets, almost 3 billion of them, that collect information on how we interact with our surroundings and people. Mobile is now the greatest data set that we have access to. With these 3 billion devices, we can start building up solutions to some of the problems that are facing cities. But I'm sure you've all heard about the apps that run on these phones that collect data and get analyzed to provide their users more personalized services. But few of them actually reach the scale that's necessary to tackle some of these big problems. Mobile network operators, on the other hand, have been collecting this data since the beginning. And they are now using it to provide services to all of these companies that desperately need them. So verticals like transportation planning, marketing, retail are all now looking for access to the type of high-resolution, frequent data that they need. I'm going to have to build some slides. Got some latency in this clicker, I guess. This is where Warehouse comes in. We provide software to mobile network operators that actually transforms their data into the type of better, faster, cheaper solutions that data-driven businesses need. This is what our platform looks like. We sit on top of the mobile location data that mobile network operators all collect. We ingest this data, we filter it, we fuse it with third-party data, we extract mobility patterns using data science and machine learning, and aggregate those across devices. On top of this core platform, we then provide modules that offer specific solutions for these verticals. So for example, Warehouse Centroid provides urban planners with data that they need to understand transportation demand and travel demand within cities. Now we know this technology works. I spent 5 years at MIT developing it for my PhD research, published numerous peer-reviewed papers, presented this technology at leading industry conferences, and we've deployed it and validated the results in over 20 cities around the world with real mobile network operator data. This is a huge advantage for us when we're talking with MNOs because they know that we can provide the type of specialized domain expertise to make sure that their customers are happy with the first results, and it really accelerates their time to market with these new solutions. So, warehouse technology is already out in the world today. We've helped mobile network operators provide data to toll road operators to better understand usage of their roads so they can set prices more efficiently. We've helped them provide departments of transportation with improved travel demand surveys to replace their expensive and infrequent data in the past, and we've helped retailers understand the demographics of those that use the stores around them. It's projected that the market for telco data is going to top $78 billion in the next 5 years, and Warehouse exists to make sure that mobile network operators are able to capture that. Thank you, and I'd love to take some questions.
Questions?
So I suppose the other people that can track this data would be Apple and Android as well, right? I mean, have they made any forays into, I mean, obviously they do it for internal purposes, but into taking this data and allowing other people to get access to it as well?
So on the case of Apple, Facebook, no, they haven't really done too much with this. Google, they definitely are collecting it. They use it to improve some of their own products like Google Maps, but they haven't yet broken out and offered it to any external customers.
So going back to what's the business? So who's the customer who you're selling to?
So we sell software to mobile network operators. That's the business. We get licenses for that software, and then we'll work on second access pricing around data volumes and revenue sharing.
And why should the operator pay for?
Yeah, so this is very domain-specific technology. So if you just go out there and put some generic big data engineers on this problem to produce results for a transportation planner, chances are they're not going to produce, they don't have the domain expertise to really understand what that person is looking for. As I mentioned, it took 5 years with a group of PhD students at MIT to actually build and validate these solutions. And we don't want our customers to have to spend 5 years developing that, even though they have some engineers.
Is it up to the mobile operator to then sell that software to customers? I mean, because obviously, do they understand the use cases? It sounds like you guys actually understand the use cases. You should be putting the two together and buying almost middleman buying the data from the operator and then selling it at a massive markup to the end
operators
the
are
end
actually
user.
Great channel partners in this. They're already providing connectivity to almost every company or even government agency out there. So they already have great relationships, and this is just another capability that their customers really want that they're happy to sell.
Cool. Thank you very much, Jameson.
Thank you.
And last up, I would like to introduce onto stage Clotilde from Witty in Bordeaux.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for coming to the 4 years from now world. So today I'm going to introduce you to Witty, which is the first hybrid personal assistant. So what does it mean concretely? So Witty is actually, you probably all know Siri or OK Google or other tools like that, but Witty is quite different because it can do so much more. Indeed, it combines artificial intelligence with real human personal assistant. So you have a natural dialogue with your personal assistant. So first you talk to the machine, so you have a dialogue with the machine, with the artificial intelligence, and then at the end, the human takes over. So I'm going to explain to you a bit more later. So it's an app that is available 24/7 in English, French, and Chinese. So you can use it anywhere, anytime. And it's really easy to use because you just talk to Witty or you write down your request and Witty answers you in an instant. So basically, you're in Barcelona for the Mobile World Congress. So you're listening to one of the pitches tonight and you just realize that you need to book a taxi. So you just send your request to Witty on your app and then you just say, Witty, book me a taxi to go to the airport tonight. And then for the next day, you want to go to dinner. You want to invite your colleagues to dinner in a trend restaurant. So Witty will suggest you a restaurant based on your taste, your preferences, and your budget. And then it will book the restaurant for you. And for instance, you're here and you just realize that you need to go to the dentist next week. You don't want to call the dentist since you're working or enjoying Barcelona. So you ask Witty, and Witty will call the dentist, make the appointment, and add it to your mobile calendar. So it's really easy to use, and it can do pretty much anything to make your life easier and more enjoyable. So this is basically what we can do. And we are a solution for clients of large companies and for tourists all over the world. And we're based in France, as I told you earlier. And we offer packages, several packages. We offer, you can have access to Witty for a few days, for a month, for a year. And it's very easy to use and to have access to Witty because, for instance, you're a company and you want to have Witty, you can create a white label for Witty with your logo, with your colors, and you want to offer it to your clients, to your own clients. So it's a B2B2C solution. And then you can make your own personal assistant for your clients. So it's great to increase customer loyalty and to reinvent customer experience. We are currently working with many partners all over the world. We recently signed with airline companies and with other companies all over the world. And so that's pretty much it. So thank you very much. And you probably do have questions, so I'm listening.
So basically, you're offering yourself as the next generation customer care for the, whoever the client is.
Yes, absolutely. For instance, for an airline company, we are a solution for their own clients. For instance, they decide that they want to offer Witty to their premium travelers or for the business travelers, and then they can sell Witty as an option for just economy travelers. So we can be a solution for their clients as well as for their employees as well.
And the money is coming from the B2B?
Yes, we are reaching large companies, so the money is coming from huge volume of clients.
Can you talk about who's the team behind this?
Oh, sorry?
The team.
The team. So we are currently 15 people based in Bordeaux. So you have the CEO who has been working in concierge services for the past 10 years, so really knows about all of that. And then we have a technical team with us, and as well, of course, personal assistants. They can answer all the requests in French, English, and Chinese as well. But we are based in France. That's very important for us to have a very good quality of service.
Can you talk us a little more about the competition, the landscape competition, and about your advantage?
Sure. Of course, there are all the tools and machines such as Alexa or other things, but we are very different from those tools since we combine artificial intelligence and humans behind the machine. And as well, since we combine both technologies, we can offer our solution at a very interesting price. For instance, for a week, our partner can sell it for 2 or 3 euros to its clients. So it's really cheap, so you can ask anything to Witty 24/7.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like you to go behind and deliberate who the winner is going to be. And in the meantime, I'm going to introduce last year's winner onto stage. Sean, anytime you want. I'd like to introduce onto stage last year's winner, Olivier from Thing, to tell a little bit about what's happened in the last 12 months.
At Thing, our passion is creating the best sharing experience on mobile. We love messaging, and we know that you love it as well. This is exactly why we won last year Disrupted by Mobile Award. It's simple: passion, great team, great product. Now, I want to talk about the future. I like to talk about the future. Every day, look around you. Everyone is texting all the time. We're doing it so much, texting, messaging. We're doing this 16 hours per week. This is enormous. And when you look around here right now, I'm pretty sure there's people not even listening to me right now. No? Texting is very central. There's no doubt it's central to our daily communication. This is me last year. This is what happens when you switch between apps. It's horrible, let's face it. You're in WhatsApp, you want to access something, you go out, you copy-paste information, you come back, and the paste is not there. You have to go back again, redo the action, and then start again. You're in WhatsApp, you want to share your availability, and then you have to go out to the calendar app, and then come back. So the app switching is really at the center of a big problem in messaging and the way we communicate today. Well, we want to change that. Thing is a third-party keyboard that transforms your thumbs into superheroes. You can choose your own superhero if you want. It's a keyboard as a platform. So all the way from Airbnb listing to Spotify songs to theaters nearby to restaurants, you can do these micro interactions within the keyboard. So no matter if you're in WhatsApp, Slack, iMessage, whatever, the keyboard is your central place of communication, and it's available across the device. People love it. We've been growing 15% month-over-month growth. We have a 64% 7-day retention rate, 5 partners in the Forbes 100, and we are talking right now with OEMs. This is what we believe what a keyboard should be. But we don't want to stop there. Our vision is just type, we do the rest. We're building an AI inside the keyboard that sits securely and locally on the device, that processes information in real time, so the next time you're typing with someone going out for a restaurant, we detect the context and we drive in information in the suggestion bar without you ever doing any action. You focus on typing and you let the keyboard do the rest. Now, since we won last year Disrupted by Mobile, everything accelerated. We closed our round, the team grew up, and I have to really thank them. I don't know where they are right now, but hey, this is our team. Whoops, sorry. This is our team. They're amazing to work with. We're covering from Android to iOS, to AI, machine learning capabilities, to incredible marketing. We have vast experience, many years of experience combined, and we're all at the top of our game. And yes, even the dog is at the top of his game, like in the picture. Now is the time to invest in our company. We're raising capital. We're raising our Series A. We've won many awards. And why we're raising now and why it's now the time to invest is that next June, we're going to release in 40+ languages, have the biggest set of portfolio of services available on the planet, and we're going to grow them 100% month over month because it's so easy to build on top of our platform. So I will leave you with one thing. Dear investors, I definitely want to talk with you. But this one, I want to make the keyboard awesome. We're ready to do this, and we know that we need the smartest investors in the room. That's my update. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you stay here. I'd like to invite back on stage the 5 panelists, judges. Right. Having seen what happened at the Oscars last night, The winner is Snapchat. Oh no, they weren't presenting.
Maybe say a few words, no?
No, why don't you explain your rationale?
Okay, so first of all, I think that it was very hard to pick. I think that the presentations and pitches and companies were truly exciting, and I'm not saying it just because this is something that we normally say when we have panels like that. And I think that truly you see a lot of innovation in the mobile market, and especially in the 4YFN venue. I think that there is a lot of trends, new trends that we discover. And I think that one of the reasons that we picked the winner is because we feel that this is, first of all, disruptive, and second, we feel that this is something that is important to all of us. So without further ado, the winner is WeFarm. So.
There you go. And with that, I would like to invite anyone who would like to meet any of the presenters. They will be at Dome 1 just after this. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.